Welcome to the Infill Podcast, where we interview the most interesting members of the 3D printing and maker communities, live and with audience participation. And now, here is your host, Jonathan Levy.
Greetings, friends, and welcome. I'm really excited to have you all here today. Our guest today is a recent friend of mine and fellow content creator who's had a very past, interesting life. He spent most of his career in high tech, has spent the better part of a decade on YouTube teaching about 3D printing and Arduino and all kinds of fun electronic projects. Please welcome to the show, everyone, Everson Siqueira. How are you, my friend? How's everything going?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure. Everson, you and I met because we were both reviewing the K2 Plus, and you connected, which I'm so glad we did, and we compared notes. And I'm really glad that we've become fast friends. We got a chance to hang out at Formnext. And
Absolutely, yes.
I don't know why the algorithm didn't serve me your channel sooner. You're kind of a hidden gem for my feed, at least.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. It's interesting because in events like Formnext, I usually can see that, you're on YouTube, but how big is your channel? And say, it's not too shabby. And then I ask them to open YouTube, and then they scroll, and they usually have at least seen 4 or 5 videos of mine.
Yeah.
And that's my mistake, because the way we can probably go into that, but way I'm doing YouTube, it's weird because people watch some of my videos. I have some very successful videos, but people don't remember my face. They don't remember my face, and that's clearly on me. It's my fault.
I think it's because you're getting more handsome with age. I looked at some of your older videos, and I think the gray salt and pepper is very, you're just getting better looking with age.
Oh God! Okay, I will believe that. I will try to believe that.
That's Everson,
nice.
tell me about your beginning of your 3D printing journey. Where you could, by the name of your channel, I for some reason think it didn't start out as a 3D printing channel, and like many other channels, you got sucked in, and now it's a 3D printing channel, right?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Look, I am 10 years already into YouTube, 11 years,
Wow.
and I only made 70 videos.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, just 70, but I have 26 million views in total. Yeah, so I'm doing some things right, some things I'm doing not right. And the thing that I did really wrong is I started YouTube without a plan. I didn't want to go pro. I didn't want to go full time. Yeah, like you are a man with a plan, right? You started this channel with a plan, and
Very
you
much.
had I want to reach these goals, and I didn't. I actually started my channel because I was making apps for the iPad and for iPhone with a dear friend, and we launched this calculator here. By the way, it's
cool.
It's super clever. It's a retro calculator. It has super cool. Let's read. It has super nice sounds. But the problem is, it was super important to have sound, but some people had trouble to have sound on their iPhones, their iPads. I don't have sound. How do I have sound? And my first video was a tutorial on how to fix the sound of your iPad and iPhone. And that was my very first video, and it got 1 point something million views in less than 1 year. And that's how YouHaveAniPad started. It was very focused on Apple. That's how I started on YouTube. And my third video was how to connect the iPad or the iPhone to the TV. And that video has 3 million something views as well. So if you look at but it was like 1 year between each video. I was doing like, when I have something interesting to say, I'll do it. But it was not on schedule, nothing like that. And then it started getting more serious. up to the moment where my daughter was born, and I went to an old passion of mine, which is electronics, and I
Cool.
made this interesting object to her. My wife told me, "Oh, do you want to make a busy board for her?" And I thought, okay, let's do it right. And I did this thing. It's also got 150,000 views. It
Oh
was very
wow.
nice. It has lots of lights and combinations and motors, and it also shows the power consumption when you start doing things. So, well, but it
Oh
doesn't.
wow.
But it doesn't. Yeah, there's a video after the podcast. If people are curious, it's a very cool video, and you can see the mess that is inside because I did it very old style. I just soldered a bunch of cables, and actually, if I would do it today, it has a voltage indicator, so you know how the batteries are. If I had done it today, I would certainly do with a PCB. I don't know,
Okay.
maybe from some services. Those I
So
heard there is.
thank you for reminding me about PCB Way. But as you were speaking, which is one of the sponsors of this episode, as you were speaking, I realized I
Oh,
did forget to do an ad read. So let's do that real quick. I'm embarrassed, but now
okay,
there's more
let's go
people
for it.
attending anyway. So I forgot to do an important segment that we do now every single show, which is called "What's Printing, Jonathan?" Brought to you by Octo Everywhere. Sorry, guys, to do this in the middle of the intro of the show, but I'm supposed to show you guys what I'm printing, and Octo Everywhere keeps me printing. Really, really cool. So you can see all my printers here. You can also see that I already cleared the build plates for most of them today when I left the office. But I'll show you just a fun thing. And one cool thing you'll notice, you see this little robotic guy. So I can just leave all my printers running at the office because I don't have to worry. Octo Everywhere, even if it's not a Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, their AI is watching my prints at all times and will notify me if something happens. You can see it on Millipede, which is the Idea Former IR3V2. It's printing a 600 millimeter long multiboard titled Big Multiboard. Just so you guys know, I think you get 3 months free of Octo Everywhere, and you get a $25 credit, so that's 90 days free, I believe. Don't quote me on that. If you hit the link in the description, I highly recommend this service. As you can see, I install it on literally every printer you can install it on, including my Bambu Lab printers. Thank you, Octo Everywhere, and I'm sorry for my late ad read. Now we'll talk about PCBI. No, I'm just kidding. So today you would
Yeah,
do it with a
you use
PCB.
a PCB. Make a PCB. Don't make a mess of wires, just as I
Totally,
did. It's much better.
totally. So was it a gradual kind of, because now all you do videos about is 3D printing, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
A lot of
and
resin,
and
I've
and and
noticed, but
Arduinos when I can.
yeah. There's a video from Zach Friedman. I don't remember which one. This was like 2 years ago, where he's like, it's time to just face the facts. This is a 3D printing channel. It's like, it's not an electronics channel. It's not. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that that's the case. You know, like Frankly Built used to be a cosplay channel. It's a 3D printing channel now. Maker's Muse is often combat robots, but every single video has 3D printing, you know.
Yeah,
It's funny how we all
but
get sucked in, right?
yeah, I think that's because we need to eat, probably,
Partly.
because
Yeah.
yeah, because for example, I pretty much envy people that have channels that find a good balance between 3D printing as something on itself, the printers and
Right.
reviews, something like that, and or a project, or for example, robots, or people
Yeah.
that have, for example, radio control channels. They do RC stuff that are 3D printing, but they find a good balance and a good
Right.
intersection between both of them. Because, for example, I made this here. I don't know if it's possible to see. I made this boat. Let me get it. I got from my birthday the radio control for this, and I thought, oh, let me design a boat because it has been like almost 30 years since the last time I played with radio control. I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm old. And then I wanted to design one, and I did it. It's printed like almost in one piece. It's just like, I guess it's five in total. And yeah, super nice. And only 2,000 people watched my video. I was,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, that's so sad. Because I wanted to, if more people had watched it, I would make a series of it. I would like evolve the model. Maybe I would do it one day, but I cannot do it in my channel, because if I spend time on that on the channel, I would be killing my money.
And yet, I think about it the opposite way, which is the biggest 3D printing channels on YouTube are not 3D printing channels. Unnecessary Invention, I think, is the biggest one. 3 or
Yep.
4 million, by far the biggest. It's a 3D printing channel, let's be honest. It's a project channel, but every video is
Yes.
3D printing. Frankly Built, over 1 million. Angus, Maker's Muse. Frankly Built is 3D printing, cosplay. Maker's Muse is robotics, 3D printing.
Oh, Uncle Jesse, he started completely on the hobby, and also
Right.
got sucked into 3D printing. He was
Right.
pretty much in cosplay all the time,
Right.
right?
But I think the channels that use 3D printing, I like to make stuff, is another one. Like a
Yeah.
lot of 3D printing, not only, but those channels are bigger. So I always think about how can but I think once the thing that you're pointing to is once you've gone down the rabbit hole and niched yourself in, now
Yep.
you're in the position that Morley Kurt is in, actually, which is chase a new audience or do what you love and serve the audience you already have. Do I go after that
Yeah.
woodworking audience, or do I just serve the people that I already have?
Oh, and it gets even more nuanced and complicated. For example, if you, for example, the YouTube money from AdSense, it's usually not enough for anybody to survive. Let's be honest. You need to be incredibly big to have a decent earning from ad
Right.
revenue.
Or
So
in personal finance. Then you can be
oh
fine.
yeah, then the CPM is like $20. So
Right.
yeah, you talk anything and you ka-ching, you pay
Right.
the bills. Exactly. So and but for example, you have to start making reviews or making, I don't know, sponsorships, and there is a conflict of interest always. I know that you try to be as balanced as possible and truthful to your audience. I try to do the same. So for some reason, I'm not hearing you. It just,
Oh, I
I don't
said,
know
I
if you.
muted myself. I said, no, man, I'm here to make as much money as possible off this massive, massive gold rush of an opportunity that is 3D printers. Whoops. Turn on
So
the paper
yeah,
shredder.
so and that's the thing. I think that people that get most of their money from Patreon, for example,
Right.
they are in a super nice position, because they can be as truthful as possible.
True.
Like yeah, if a brand send them a printer and there are problems, they can really say as much as they
Right.
can, or as much as they want. They don't get sucked into other conflicts. I,
Right.
I need to I need to mention an example. For example, the FL Sun, the
Mm-hmm.
T1 and the S1. I know a lot of people criticized FL Sun, and it seems to me that the S1 was less finished than the T1. The T1 was pretty much there.
Right.
I got the T1, and I loved it. I really liked the printer, but I couldn't say it, because right when I was finishing my video, it started appearing on YouTube like, oh, did you see the contract that these and that YouTuber got, that they should say
Yeah.
good things? And I just, okay, now I'm after 3 weeks that I'm playing with this thing and recording videos, if I say that I like it, people will think I got money for doing that, and I didn't.
Yeah. That was the tricky one. Also, because the contract, I didn't sign that contract. I redlined the contract.
I,
But
I didn't have I didn't have any contract at all.
so
They
even
just
better.
sent me. It was before. I was probably one of the first ones to get the printer. I didn't have a contract at all. They just
Are you
said,
talking about the
"Hey, do you want
T1 or
to?"
the T1 Pro?
No, the T1, way
So you got it,
before.
yeah, before the contract was circulated.
Absolutely, I didn't have any contract at all. They just said, "Do you want to play with the printer?" In. I got like six. I was first contacted 6 or 8 months. They were saying, "Oh, we are finishing it," and then I was waiting. I was, "Oh my goodness, what's happening?" So they finally
Yeah.
sent me the printer, no contract at all, and I liked it. Of course, there were problems on the firmware. It was not doing multiple time lapses yet. You had just to get to the very last one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was. So it had little problems, but it was really fast, although very noisy.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They fixed
I
that in the
love the
Pro.
printer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have something to say about that. First, I didn't sign that contract, and people came to my channel and were like, "Shill." I was like, I redlined the contract. Um, but the difficult thing was the contract that I did sign had a non-disclosure, which said you wouldn't share the details of the contract. So I was like, okay. Normally, you know me, you've met me in person. Like
Yeah.
I tell it like it is, and I'm very transparent. So I would have just uploaded the contract, but I read the contract. It said I can't do that. So I just posted the emails, which I can do because that's not,
Okay.
I literally
Sure.
posted my email that was like, "Hey guys, not signing this contract. I suggest we go back to what we originally agreed, which was da 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 da."
Yeah.
I understand they've stopped circulating those kinds of contracts. I think that was a wake-up call for them, I hope. Um,
Yeah. Let's
but
hope
this is
so.
why I've stopped doing I don't want to do reviews anymore. I don't agree to do reviews.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
if I do a review, it's because I wanted to or I felt it was important. But what I'll often do, and this is what I did with FL Sun, I'm like, you can send the printer over if you're going to sponsor a project. I'll use it for the project, right? So I'm going to do the project I want to do. I will use your printer. I will sign the contract that says I'll give your stuff. Obviously, I won't say anything that's false, but I'll read your points. I'll say in the video, I use the printer for this project. Here's, this ad stuff, selling points. And then our contract is over. And then I can do whatever the hell I want. And if I want to upload a video a week later, and I've done this, a week later saying, here's my honest review. So I'll say in the first video, hey, this video is sponsored. This is not a review. I use this printer for this project. Check it out. And then later I'll do a update, you know?
Well, what I'm doing now on certain products, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the Creality K2 Plus combo. That's clearly the printer that people were expecting the most, at least on the second semester, well, since they announced it. That's a printer you will review yes or yes, because everybody wants it.
Right.
There's a lot of buzz, so
I
you
didn't
will
even
review.
commit. I didn't commit to it. And I split it. I did a 5 printer review in one, which turned
Yes,
out
I
to be a
remember that.
really, really good choice because people broke the embargo.
Yes, that's interesting because what happened to me particularly is that well, that's what I do in every video. When I decide that I will make a video about something, I want to make the best video out of that. It doesn't matter if it will take me 1 month, 2 months, it doesn't matter. That's how I like to do videos.
Yeah.
And okay, they sent me the printer in advance, and I was okay. I will put the camera very close to everything I want to show very nice and very
Right.
very good. Find details that probably nobody will care or
Right.
find. And I was doing that for 1 month already when our friend, that the definitive source of 3D printing news.
I wasn't going to name any names. I still think we shouldn't name names. And by the way, there
uh,
were other people who uploaded their videos before.
but it was, I don't know, I guess it was after he did it. So anyway, that was a bummer because I was preparing something special and I was investing the whole month doing it. And then
Right.
he got the phone and he showed everything like, yeah, look, look here, look there, oh
Yeah.
Jesus. Now he's killing the surprises, you know, and I was investing so much time and effort to I got very sad. I didn't release my review yet.
Right.
I am finding other things to tell about the I
Sure.
didn't do it yet, but I
Sure.
will.
Sure. I'm not gonna talk on that because I have had a video leak due to my carelessness and being stupid.
Yes.
So it would really be hypocritical of me to come down and get angry because I've been the one that's, whether accidentally or, and I don't know if he did it intentionally, there may have been some misunderstanding at Creality. I didn't get straight answers from them. Point being, I don't, in Hebrew we say, like, I don't build a house on the foundation of other people's launches anymore. Even if it were a Bambu lab, I'd be like, I'm going to put out my review when I put out my review. But, you know, if the printer's coming out today and I want to do a project, I guess what I want people listening to know is that I want to do what I want to do because what I want to do is what's interesting to people. Usually, like, I'm representative of my audience. So I'll give you an example. I'm working on a video with a fiber laser. Okay. I wanted a fiber laser. It's freaking nice. It's like,
And I wanted a CO2 that's
this one
behind
is
me.
a fiber diode. It's nice. It's portable. It's sick. Okay. My
Oh,
audience probably won't care. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll care. But, you know, they wanted me to do, as all the brands want, they're like, just do a 15-minute basically ad for the thing. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
yeah.
Like, first off, I don't do paid reviews, and I am getting tired of people in the comments going, oh, this is a paid review. I'm like, no, this is literally an overview. It's basically an infomercial. So
You got at the point. Sorry, finish
what
because
I
I
do
don't.
now, sorry, I'll wrap it. I'll tighten it up. What I do now is when I'm going back and forth with the brand, I'll just get them really excited about my idea. So, like, I'll give you a couple examples. This fiber laser. What I'm most excited about is for Etsy and selling prints and stuff like that, customizing prints without having to do color swaps and having like the ugly inset text. Prusa is sending over an Excel. I'm going to do the craziest bed adhesion test of every possible material I have a matrix, right, of every material versus every kind of bed adhesion add-on, and we're going to be testing
No,
it. So
that's
it's
cool.
like these are the projects I want to do, right? Or what's their name? The idea former. I was like, I want to print honeycomb wall, or like I just showed you, like multi-board. I want to print meter long ones, right? So send it over. And then and I tell them, by the
What's the
way,
size you're printing? The size you're doing?
so here's the funny thing. I have it facing the wall. I didn't calculate it right because actually I could print more than a meter long, but I was a little nervous because I sent the print from here.
Mhm.
Thank you, Octo Everywhere. And I was like, what's going to happen if the print hits the wall and then like it backs up on the hot end? So I'm only doing 600 meters or 600 millimeters,
Oh,
but
it's on the belt, right?
it's on the belt, but
Oh, all right.
it
Oh.
points towards the wall. So I could technically do about 1.2 meters, I think, before it hits the wall. But probably what I need to do is turn the printer out so it points into the middle of the room, and then I can just go.
You need a longer room.
Yeah. Eventually it runs out of filament.
So what I'm doing and this is a concept I'm trying to explore more. I made a video about a laser for X2, and I was doing a project. I made a cardboard 3D benchy. If anybody after the podcast, if you search for cardboard 3D benchy, or if you search for STL2SVG, you'll probably find my video. And it was one of my best videos on the channel, like 99.5% likes. It's almost a flat line. After the
Wow.
initial drop that every video has, it's a flat line to the very end. So what I see looking at the analytics is that almost everybody that has a laser watched my video. That's great. The only problem is that only 30,000 people are
All
interested in
lasers.
that.
Right.
So yeah, everybody that could watch it watched it,
Right.
not enough to pay my bills.
No.
So depending on the niche, another niche that has the same problem is, for example, 3D printer for kids. I
Yeah.
love to explore that. My daughter has three 3D printers for kids now, and I love to show that. And it's different because depending on the age, there is a different 3D printer for your kids, and I'm super happy when I do this type of project. But it's a very niche thing. So what I need to do is I say that I'm asking the company to sponsor my time.
Right.
It's not a sponsored video. If there is a problem, I will say. But
Yeah.
on the description on what I tell them is like, I need you to pay for my time on this video
Yeah. Yeah.
because I otherwise I cannot do it. So
Right.
it's not a sponsored video, but it's they paid for my time, and that's
Right.
something that I need to talk more with the viewers so they understand. Otherwise, I cannot do this type because it's so niche.
So I've often thought, and I noticed that Aurora Tech Channel, who I think hands down does the best 3D printer reviews online, period. But I
Do
noticed she
you?
started saying, yeah, well, the most thorough. I mean,
Okay,
is
okay.
it, is
Let's
it,
go with that.
yeah, well, okay. I don't know. Best is a really rough word. I think she does the most thorough and objective ones.
Okay.
Editing wise, I don't know. B-roll wise, I don't know. But she's just always fair. And every single time I get a printer and she gets a printer, I watch her review.
Hmm.
And
I
well,
do too.
I agree with her. So I guess that's why I think she's fair and objective, because but she points out the things that I don't find sometimes. Um. Anyway, the reason I brought that up is I noticed recently she started saying, I guess the deal dried up with Voxel PLA, and she started saying, thanks to Ideaformer for sponsoring this video and sending over the printer, I'm still going to remain objective. And to me, like, some people will say, oh, that's a paid review. I think about it this way, and what I hope she's doing, and what I would do if I were in her position, because she's probably getting to pretty much college age. She needs to save up and make money, and college is expensive in California.
Absolutely.
Um, what I hope she's doing is saying, you're paying me a review fee, and part of my compensation is predicated on finding and pointing out to you the flaws. Meaning, turn that conflict of interest upside down. So it's like, I'm contractually obligated to give you as harsh of criticism and feedback as I can, fair and objective, obviously, so that it's not,
Absolutely.
and then it's maybe not even a review. It's like a beta testing fee, in which case you say, is there a conflict of interest anymore? Because obviously her audience is expecting honesty from her, and her future depends on our trust as her audience. But also the brand now is literally paying her to find the flaws.
Well, if you recall, on that chat we had with our group of friends, was discussing exactly having what we say when you talk about when you do an open letter.
Right.
What's the name? What's the name of? There is a fancy name.
Manifesto.
Yeah, that's it. I would really love to do a manifesto with reviewers
Yeah.
because for 3D printing in general, because this year was a year that we got so many printers that were good, but
Yep.
but
But
so good, but so no printer got perfect.
yeah.
All printers had something or just this couple of minor things that if we had the chance to get it like 3 months before, and we
Agreed.
had point and yeah,
Agreed.
just three before, because then we provide them feedback, and then but we are already launching, so what's the
Right.
point, right? They will sell it. The first wave of buyers will have to face that,
Yeah.
those tiny details that could have been shaved off if we had just 3 months more to
Agreed.
give feedback.
Agreed.
So I would like to be a beta tester,
Yeah.
and not a,
I wouldn't.
because
That's the part of the job that I hate the most. I want the printer when it's perfect. But I'm glad you would do it. I will tell all these
I
companies
would
to
do it
send my
with
review units
pleasure.
to you.
No,
And
no,
then I'll
absolutely.
get the production ready one.
And I'm pretty sure there are YouTubers that would love. It doesn't mean like some would say, I would do it if I was paid. And right now, I am in the moment that I would do the same. I would
Yeah,
ask, look, it doesn't need to be much, but yeah, if you pay for 1 week of my time,
sure.
I can do it very heavy and give you all the feedback you need. And I think printers would go so much better if we have, I don't know, 5 people that the brand
Yeah.
trust to give
Well, you always
blunt.
need, it's like proofreading your own writing. You always need someone
Absolutely.
outside the company who doesn't know how the printer works. You know what I've never had an issue with though, and never has bugs and flaws? Today's sponsor, PCBWay, the most
That's great.
wonderful fab service. They are literally a fab, guys. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for all the things. You want CNC machining, you want 3D printing and all the technologies, including PolyJet. You want sheet metal fabrication, injection molding. You want to get 3D printed tool steel. Honestly, anything. Oh, also they do PCBs. Who would have thought? They do all the things, as you can see. Everson and I speak highly of them. I don't know if have you ever ordered stuff from them? They do fantastic
I
work.
I didn't, but
Oh,
I
you
have.
should.
Yes, I got emails from them, and
You should.
I told them that I would do it and I would work with them when I first order. And I regret
It's been a while.
postponing it. I should have
They're
done
great.
it.
Check the link in the description, guys. You get $5 off your first order. They also have the Christmas big sales thing going on, 50% off. It's massive. It's huge, if you would. You can get free Christmas PCB prototypes, free coupons, $435 worth of coupons, blind boxes. There's just like PCBWay does holidays big. They blow it out. And check them out. And I will say to you, Everson, someone asked me at Smurf, a YouTuber
Oh,
who's just, I guess, starting out. He was like, because we were telling horror stories about, brands who try to pressure you into doing this or saying that, as to kind of resume our
absolutely.
conversation. And he goes, well, are there any of these brands that are just a joy to work with? I mean, are any of them like really just a pleasure to work with and always honest and never let your customers down? I was like, PCBWay, there's a reason that they're in every single YouTuber's videos. They're literally perfect to work with. I one time had a complaint about them, and it was that there was a little piece of aluminum shaving inside of a hole that they drilled. That's the biggest complaint I've ever gotten.
Okay, I was. Can I say my brand that I have the best relationship ever?
Elegoo.
I Elego.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I've
it's
heard good things about them too.
because we can discuss for example, the Neptune 3 series. I like them very much. The
Mm-hmm.
Neptune 4, when they got Clipper, some people had trouble. They changed. They had to shave problems after that. But as a company, I don't have any complaints. They never ask me to see the videos. They
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, look, do whatever you want. Show, talk about it. And they never asked me to
Yeah.
see what I'm doing, what I'm
Yeah.
going to do.
Same.
No, they don't ask me.
Same with
Yeah.
PCBWay.
So that's the thing. For me, that's ultimate respect with the creators.
Yep. And that's the way to do it. Like, I think about it, like, why are you paying me to you're paying me because I know how my audience thinks and I know what they like and I can create valuable content for them that they want to watch. I think that's why people show up. And then when you tell me to do this and do this and do this and do this, it's like, why didn't you just hire an actor to read your
Absolutely
script?
right. Yeah,
It would have been cheaper,
or
you know?
just pay YouTube to put your ads in my
There you
channel
go.
because they can choose, they can do that. But no,
Yeah.
they want your face
Yeah.
to say whatever they want, and that's
Now,
not
speaking
cool.
of things that you are passionate about, you have chosen to die on the hill of bricklayers. First, I want to talk about bricklayers.
Okay, so let's put this
You
here.
guys, at Formnext, literally, Everson was like, you would think that he was trying to save the whales. Just like grabbing people and being like, hey man, can we talk about bricklayers? We need to talk about bricklayers. This is the hill you've chosen to die on. For I think like millions of people now have seen that video, but for those
It
who
was
haven't,
it's almost 700,000
yeah,
in
yeah.
less than 1 month.
Okay, I get it. They're stronger. What's the big deal?
Yes.
What's the big deal?
The big deal is that we should have it for free because
Mm-hmm.
it's our right.
Mm-hmm.
And the company, first of all, if you watched my video, but by the way, tell in the comments if you watched the video, that it would be nice
Yep.
if it pops. It would be
Farm that
nice to
engagement.
know that.
Let's go.
Yeah. So if you watched the video showing this, because this is the prop that I showed in my video, and it's this zigzag way of putting the beads. This thing was first patented in 1995 by Stratasys, as almost everything about the beginning of 3D printing. And actually, that patent is a very good reading. If anybody's interested, that's something to read and to learn. Actually, all the first Stratasys patents, they are very interesting reads. They are science there. It has formulas, everything there. And this thing expired in 2015, in 2016 in Europe. And the mistake of not using this on the slicers is on us. We didn't do it. We should have jumped in that. Nobody did. But people started asking about this in forums in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is another company from, I guess, Florida that patented this, but their text is mostly about how to start and how to finish.
Got it.
That's the thing that we are fighting, because the patent was granted. The number of the Stratasys patent that was referenced there was one digit wrong. So I know now that the examiners never actually searched for the right patent. To make the story short, it's a family of patents. They didn't stop in one. They made one, a second one, and a third one. The first two were granted. The third one is still in evaluation, and because everybody watched the video, some people informed as a third-party observation, and this third patent is now on a non-final rejection. And I can see that happened because finally the examiners searched for the right patent. We can see that on yes, that's amazing.
That's really
People,
cool.
and that's cool. And the patent in Europe, the patent application also got observations. And most likely, I don't know, we cannot know, but this patent has a challenge in front of it. So we will have it sooner or later. And I have something to show. This is my first piece that was actually 3D printed on brick layers on an actual slicer.
Okay.
So I cannot disclose right now yet, because I've been talking to all the slicers I could, and there is one that was very fast into providing me with a development version that does brick layers, and at least
Wow.
for us to test. Because there is something else that is still bothering me, which is, we love Stefan. Stefan is the best, but it's only his test so far. We
Mm-hmm.
need more people to play with. So I am inviting Igor from My Tech Fun to also use this version that I have, so we can play with and tune the options and the values, mostly the flow, and see how strong can it be. Because one of the arguments was that, oh yeah, but it's just 10%, 15% stronger. I believe it can be much more than that, but we need to play with, and we need to have a slicer that does it. And I have, I'm not ready to disclose it yet, but at least I have a playground now to play with. So we will have it soon,
Yeah, I was
sooner
gonna
or
ask
later.
how much stronger it really is, but you say maybe more than 10 to 15%.
I I believe we can get at least 20% if we adjust the parameters and not have holes. If we had a more solid part.
Now, is
Uh, uh,
it done?
go.
It's done with, I guess here's my question. Is the offset in X, Y, or is the offset in Z, or do you just lay down a thicker bead?
No, so far it's the same width, but what you do is you change the height. So this one is normal, this one is half up, this one is so it does
Right, but
like
is
a
that done with
staircase.
the Z axis, or
Yeah,
is it
it's
done by
Z.
length? Okay.
No, it's Z.
So
It's
in
Z.
between, or in the actual layer, each perimeter is, 50 microns higher or lower.
Uh, you just do what we do in the beginning. In the end, it's actually what scares people, because as we have the two patents that were granted, that's what they got patented, and that's not undisputably public domain.
Got
So
it.
if we do the hexagonal thing, that's clearly public domain.
Yeah.
So we just change the height. So you do like two beads in one height, then the other two you do a little bit higher, then you do the other two, then the other two. In the end, some people said, oh, it will take longer to print. No, it's negligible,
No.
because in the end it's the same number of perimeters. It's
Correct.
just that you're printing two, and then the other two in a different order,
Correct.
but it's
Yeah,
the same.
and anyway, you're probably Z hopping. So it's just when you return from the Z hop after one perimeter, you return less.
You wouldn't even need to Z hop. You actually just go half, do two perimeters, and then you go half again, and then that would be, you could say that you have the twice the number of layers, but you're printing half your stuff in one layer, half the other stuff in
Yeah,
the other
that's
layer.
true.
But if you think of, if it's 40 layers, now you have 80 layers, but you're printing half of them,
Yeah,
half of the work in
that makes
them,
sense.
and the other. So it's a good thing. We have the right to have it, and that's it. That's the fight.
How often?
People can launch patents all the time if they are actually innovating. So I'm not against
Yeah, yeah,
patents. That's it. If you're creating something new, by all means, you're the first one. Patent it,
sure.
explore it.
I don't remember the last time a 3D print. I do remember, but then I fixed it. I was gonna say, I don't remember the last time a 3D print wasn't strong enough for what I wanted to do. And I don't know if it's because 3D prints are actually strong enough for what I want to do, or because I just know what's not going to be strong enough. The last time a 3D print wasn't strong enough for me was a PPS CF, very, very small bracket. I showed it in one of my videos. I, of course, don't have one here. But
Mhm.
then I annealed it, because turns out PPS-CF is not as strong, nearly as strong if you don't anneal it. I annealed it, and then it was bulletproof.
Well, I have stuff here in the garage that are. That's an interesting point. Let me show you something. This is a project. It looks like what's the name of the brand of toys for kids?
Fisher Price.
Yeah, everybody says, "Oh, it's a Fisher and Price toy," but look, it's completely wireless, and this is a Wii remote control. Yeah, and if you see that black thing here, it's my camera.
Yeah.
So it's on the ceiling, let me do this. Like, let's see if I can show.
What?
Do you see?
Yeah, that's
Look.
cool. What's it mounted on the ceiling on, like V-rollers?
No, it goes around.
Oh,
That's
wow.
it's a different concept, and it's how I do time lapses around stuff,
I've never
and it's
seen you
all
do one of those. I need to
Jesus.
see.
It's on my channel. I need to check.
I told you the
It's one of
algorithm that
the
I'm subscribed and
it's
the algorithm doesn't serve me your stuff. I think
it's
YouTube,
one of the hidden gems.
it's a hidden gem. I've realized like YouTube, the algorithm is very, very good at discovery, but it doesn't mean it finds everything that you would want in discovery. It's good at finding
Absolutely.
other things you'll like, but the reason it's so good is it keeps you kind of in the. It knows that I like the intersection of 3D printing and woodworking. It kind of knows that I'm overwhelmed by electronics. That doesn't mean I don't like watching people who do electronics. Like I love watching Maker's Muse and he does the robots. But YouTube has figured out that like as soon as someone starts programming an Arduino, it goes over my head.
Well, what I feel that is weird about the algorithm is that you subscribed the channels that you like. You watched a bunch of videos in every category of things that you like. And yet, the first moment you search for anything else, YouTube pushes you that
Yeah.
very last thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if for example, I don't know, my daughter asks me about let's say unicorns. Oh,
Yeah.
show me some. And you search for unicorn, and then like during 1 week you have unicorns all around in your feed. And that's Jesus, it was one video, and now I regret searching for it because I have all this content offered to me, and it has nothing to do with all my past. And yet
Private
you
window, my
subscribed
friend.
to,
Private
so
window.
there is this insistence in pushing the very last thing.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're putting like I
Excuse
don't
me.
know, you search Mr. Beast one time and then you see Mr. Beast content all for 1 month pushed to you, and that's not what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. And I what's that?
There's a paper
I,
shredder under my desk. It almost ate my toes.
so yeah, that's the thing. I that's especially worse to my channel, because if I was doing videos every week, that's my fault. I would probably have would be building a community faster than what I've been doing, because if you do a awesome video once a month, people will watch you, and okay, they will stop watching you. And then when you do another video, even if it's a great video, the algorithm won't suggest because you're not so fresh anymore. People are on
Yeah.
other interests already. So I think what you're doing is good. You're doing it as frequent as possible. So
I
that's
mean,
that's
I could
good.
do more frequent. I can't get out more than 3 videos a month to save my life. And this month we'll do only 2. But it's
Oh,
hard, man. Let me first off, guys, submit your questions. You can see that I'm still like my internal clock has not adjusted from all the travel.
what time is it now for you?
For me it's 8 o'clock, but we also had a rough night last night with the kids.
Okay.
So you're not boring me. I'm just, you see my red eyes. I'm starting to fall apart. I want folks to submit their questions, but I also want to ask you some of the rank and file questions that I always ask. So,
Go,
what do you
go for
print the
it.
most of? What kind of stuff do you find yourself printing?
Functional stuff, and I have a bunch of stuff in my house it's an old house. I have stuff on this house that I cannot find. It's not standard anymore. For example, under the sink, I had to join two water tubes that are not the right size that I can find. So yeah, I 3D print that stuff. Of course, I don't print anything that is dangerous. For example, if it's something about gas or
Yeah.
that gets warm, of course, it's a deal breaker. You cannot do that. But if it's low pressure, even if it's for water, I 3D print stuff. I play
Yeah.
with my house. It's fine. So I do functional parts all the time. I do Arduino things. By the way, to me, Arduinos and 3D printers go hand in hand. I think it's the most amazing journey that you can have as a maker. When you can create something, create the mechanical part of it, and create the brains for that. To me, that's amazing, as I did for my camera control. And you can do things that don't exist. To me, that's very awesome. Arduino was the gateway drug to me for 3D printers, actually. I started with Arduinos, and I thought, oh my goodness, I could make so many cool stuff if I do the 3D printed part. Then I bought my Ender 3.
Yeah.
That was my first. That was my first printer, an Ender 3. That was your second question, right? Right? Was your
No,
first
but I'm
3D
glad you
printer?
answered it. My next question was going to be, if you just need something to print and you don't want to mess around, which printer do you go to?
Depends on the material.
All right,
I
let's say
have.
carbon fiber nylon, and the second one is PLA,
Let,
if
let,
it's the same printer or
let's
not.
if it's PLA, the Bambu is the P1S is ready to rock.
Okay.
It's still is the printer that prints the best. It's not perfect though.
Nothing is.
I Nothing is. I still think we lost a few things when we went direct drive.
Hmm.
Really, I see artifacts when we look on the light. I
Mm,
see artifacts that we didn't have when we were using Bolden printers.
right.
So it's not perfect. If you go very fast, you don't see that so much. But especially if you print silk PLA, if it needs to
Yeah.
be shiny, you need to go slow, and you see artifacts
Yeah.
that when we had Bolden were not there. So I'm not full in with the direct drive. We got other benefits, but it's by far not perfect. So Bambu prints very well. If I need something very fast, the FL Sun T1 is really fast.
It's
I
really,
use
really
it.
good, huh?
It's really fast. It has problems with the if it needs to be really smooth, it has its own set of artifacts because of the delta thing. But if it's just functional and it needs to be really really fast, that's a printer I have. It's there, and I use it quite often. But for example, if I need PETG, I have my PETG printer that is ready to roll. It's a Ender 3 S1 Pro that is always mounted with PETG, because if I'm printing PETG, I want it to be strong, and I want to print slow. I don't care about the speed. I just want the
Right.
part to be really strong. So I have my PETG printer. I understand that not everybody has the luxury of having two, three printers. It's getting more common. I did a recent poll on my channel. How many 3D printers do you have in your home? And more than half had more than one printer. So it's getting very common for people to have, because yeah, maybe they bought a very shiny new printer, but they are not throwing away their older printer. Especially because if you're a tinker and you want to mess and make mods, it's always nice to have a one printer that is always ready to print. If you're
Yeah, yeah.
unless because you so yeah,
But
I have more than one depending on what you want to print.
as Kakipedia pointed out, PETG is the arch enemy of TNL, and friends don't let friends print PETG. It's like
Oh no, come on.
it's an ongoing trope on this channel that I hate PETG and I refuse to print it.
What's your problem with PETG?
How much time do you have? We could do a whole podcast interview about this.
Oh my
Number
goodness, we
one,
should do it.
number
Okay,
one,
go.
it sticks to the build plate too well. Number two, it's impossible to keep dry in my climate. It's just always bubbly and messy and disgusting. Number three,
Okay,
it's not.
there are solutions for all of that, but okay, go.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to like schedule a date with my filament 2 days before I want to print it. Okay, I want to
I
go
understand.
now,
Okay, go.
baby. I want to go
Okay,
now.
okay.
Okay, I'm like I want my filament to be like I'm not wearing any underwear, ready to go.
I, I'll do the
Um,
same as you just to show my logo. Okay,
nice.
okay, continue.
Number three, it's not particularly better than ABS at anything except chemical resistance. Number four, it sticks to the nozzle too much.
Okay,
Number
that's the only thing that I would agree with you. That is a really
yeah.
annoying thing. But I have a video that I am scheduled to do about this thing because I
Okay.
have the solution for that. It's not something. Some people know that, but I need to stress that there is something that will fix your problems about this, which is it globs the nozzle, right? It
Yeah. I
globs
have
and
I
then
have the PRP. I'm not done. Number seven, it's
oh
super
Jesus,
slow
okay,
to
go.
print. Slow. You can use PETG 8 high flow, but then that behaves like ABS in terms of impact resistance. Bottom line,
Yeah.
there's a reason that ABS is the most popular plastic on the planet. It
Hmm.
flows really well. It's super impact resistance. It's rigid. It's wonderful. It's recyclable. I love
Well,
ABS.
the we are being through a very nice year in terms of materials. This year was crazy because we got a bunch of every possible combination with carbon fiber and glass fiber
Mm-hmm.
we got this year. This is something great. Uh, ASA, it's also a very nice filament,
Yeah.
and I would argue that it's better than ABS. It doesn't warp as much. Also, we are being very privileged about finally we have printers that are having heated chambers.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. Oh,
Totally.
sorry, I kicked my camera.
You're
Sorry,
fine.
guys, I kicked you. Uh, yeah, and now we have the new K2 Plus has a heated chamber. Well,
Right.
the shitty printers also have heated chambers,
Right.
and I am not sure if the new Allego, the Centauri Carbon, has a heated chamber. I hope they
You
do.
don't even
I,
need a
I
heated chamber on most of these printers. Everyone's like all hyped about the heated chambers. X1
That's
Carbon doesn't
good,
have a
man.
heated chamber.
But
My
it's good.
V0 Voron 0 can get to 55C without a heated chamber.
Yeah, if it's enclosed,
Exactly.
but
By the way, here's something that's going to
yeah.
blow your mind. At Formnext, I don't know if you saw the 3D LAC booth. They were
No, I didn't.
printing nylon, not a nylon composite, not PACF, nylon,
Nylon,
pure
flat.
nylon, not even
All
Polymaker
right.
nice nylon, pure freaking nylon on a bed slinger open with just
Okay.
the proper bed adhesive. Perfect. Came out perfect.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I can believe it would go perfect up to a certain height. I'm not so sure. Okay.
Remarkable. Remarkable.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. I will
granted,
believe
we
you.
were indoors. They were away from the door. There wasn't drafts. And probably layer adhesion is not going to be as strong as it would be. But still, I mean, if anyone's tried to print nylon before, bed adhesion is normally a nightmare.
Okay. Let me just tell you something. Once I was trying to fix something for my daughter, and it had to be nylon because I tried all the other things and they weren't tough enough. And what I had was even printing on very good adhesion. I was using adhesive on a flexible sheet. it was lifting the sheet.
Yeah.
It had to be glass
Yeah. Yeah.
to really stay flat.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem later was how to take it out, because without the flex in a glass, how do you do? And I had a bad time trying to unstick it to the, because it was glass.
Right.
So yeah, that's a problem. Nylon is my arch nemesis.
Oh,
So
really?
PETG. Oh yeah, PETG is easy, man. Nylon is the really. That's why I really like the carbon stuff,
Yeah.
the glass
Yeah.
fiber with nylon. That's a game changer.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Have you tried printing with hips?
I printed hips because hips is very light,
Hmm.
and I had one of these printed. I don't know where it is now, but I printed in hips because I wanted something lighter than water.
Yeah.
And hips is so, even if my boat would crash and have a crack, it would float because it would,
Cool.
yeah, it's lighter than water. But the problem is that hips is weaker as well. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's not as tough as PLA or PETG hips. You need to have it thicker to be tougher. I had parts printed for my Ender. I had Ender mods because hips goes well on higher temperature. So
Hmm.
hips is a very nice filament. Just to be careful about which chemicals you will put it, because there are some chemicals that you just as polystyrene. If you have acetone, just melts the thing. You need to be careful about which chemicals you use. But
Yeah.
it's a nice filament.
We've got a great question from Scotty McCragles. Given that you've been in the 3D printing industry much longer than I have, where do you see the next innovation in 3D printing hardware? Where do you think we're going? Magnetic rails? I mean, I happen to know what's coming down the pipeline, but
Oh,
tell me where you think we're going in 3 to 5 years.
look, it's that's wow, what a wonderful question. Actually, I can say what I want to have. I don't know if anyone will deliver. I am trying on a secret project to offer an alternative. I hate the vertical fine artifacts.
Same.
I think, especially if you go slow. Well, people say, "Oh, but printers go so fast." No, every printer is just like a car. You cannot skip. You're in a curve, and then you have a straight
Right.
lane in front of you. It will accelerate, so you cannot escape going slow or finishing slow. You're having better acceleration, but you're always starting and finishing slow, and all the time you have artifacts on those lower speeds. I want something different. I have some people say that the pitch distance for the belt reduces it. So that's something that people talked about, the new shitty KQ4, the new printer that they're using 1.5 millimeters pitch. But they were not the first ones. Actually, the first printer to do that pitch was the A1 and the A1 Mini. They
Hmm.
also, it's interesting that Bambu never advertised that change, but their belts had 1.5 millimeter pitch, and it
Right.
seems that it reduces the artifacts, but it doesn't do a miracle.
Right.
I want a miracle, and I think we need something very different to do that.
Linear motors should do it, but from what I've
That
seen of the Magneto X, the print quality isn't there.
that's the thing. When I watched, oh, I forgot his name. Jesus,
Teaching tech.
Thomas
Sunladder.
Saladerer. Thank you so much. When I watched his videos, I loved to watch his videos, and I was like that, waiting for the moment he would show a close up of the part against the light to see how, because every printer has a motion signature of artifacts, and I
Right.
was like that when finally he showed it. grab a screenshot and magnified because nobody had that, and I want to see. And it wasn't artifact free. It had
No.
a different set of artifacts, but it was not the miracle I was expecting. So that's one thing that I want. I want a printer that has very, very smooth printing. We saw so many good things on Farmnext, and we see all the time, but most of what we see we will only have in 15, 20 years, because
I don't know about
everything.
that. We saw the Mimakis 3 to 5 years ago. No, 2 years ago is when I first noticed Mimaki. And FlashForge came out with a $10,000 printer, full color. If it
Well,
goes from 50 to 10, in 2 years it's going to be
yeah,
$2,000 to $3,000 for full color resin printer.
you mentioned a very good point, which is the distinction between monopoly and
True.
patents and affordability.
Right.
So, for example, now that I'm jumped into this patent world, I just to mention an example that nobody complained. Elegoo has 100 to 110 patents.
Oh wow.
No, yeah, nobody talks about Elegoo's patents, right? Why? Because they have affordable products. For example, one of the patents they have is for the water washable resins. It's they have a patent for that, but nobody cares because you can buy the bottle for $20. If you can have it, you don't bother that the fact that it has a patent. It's affordable. You can use it. You can have it. So that's the point. What is making us sad is when there is a very nice technology that you want to have in your garage and you cannot
Right.
have it because it's too expensive.
Right.
So that's the same thing about the Flash Forge, the continuous fiber. It's a
Mark Forged.
10,000. Sorry, Mark Forged. Yes, Mark Forged. Thank you. I saw, and it's amazing, right? The continuous fiber from Mark Forged, but it's a 10,000. Of course, it's revolutionary, but it's a car. You need to sell your car to have that printer. But if they had it for $3,000, maybe everybody that care would buy it.
Right.
But there's so it's a yeah. I don't know. That's the distinction you were mentioned, right? Like there's a bunch of stuff that is still patented.
Yeah.
It's still expensive,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe in a couple of years we will have it because. But it depends if they have the monopoly, if they drop the price, and I don't know if they are interested in that.
Speaking of patents and what's coming next, we didn't talk at all about the Bambu Lab leak. Big leak.
Oh. Well, first of all, I don't know. Do you trust the leak? Because as it started appearing, I got so much different memes and like printers from other brands, and people were just slapping Bambu Lab logo
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything. Like, yeah, look, Bambu Lab tablets. So
Yeah. Yeah.
all sort of crazy stuff that people were mentioning. What do you believe is true?
What do I believe? I don't know anything. That's important to say. I have no insider information. What do I believe? I believe that there's going to be, it's not a tool changer, it's a nozzle changer. I think it's going to change nozzles to eliminate purge. And I suspect it's going to have, I hope spect that it's going to have a way to load the inactive nozzle, though I don't know how you would do that.
Well, there are a bunch of projects. Well, this is something for the list that I want for the near future. I want tool changer or nozzle changers to become mainstream.
Yeah,
I want more tool changers.
right.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it clearly. Do you have a Prusa Excel?
It's on its way. Thank you, Prusa. It's literally on
Oh,
its way.
Lucky you. Well,
Yeah.
I envy that. I
I
think
got
it's too
down on my
expensive.
hands and knees and begged. Not really,
I
but
think I think it's the way to do it. But on the case of Prusa X, I understand everything. I understand the brand. I understand the fact they are in Europe, but it's a very expensive printer.
it is.
I I want Elegant to have a two changer.
You know what? I actually asked flat out. I got the chance to have lunch with Joe last week, and
Oh,
I flat out
okay,
asked him, I was like, why is the XL so expensive? And you know what surprised me? And I don't think this was a behind closed doors conversation. Um,
okay,
what surprised me, I thought he would be like material cost, da da da, this, that, and the other. He
yeah.
mentioned a lot of reasons, which are the ones, but the two first things he said were supporting it. It has a much, because there's 5 extruders, because there's so much more happening in software and everything. He said it puts a much heavier load on our support staff, which I hadn't thought about. But also he said,
I agree. I
he
agree.
said like it's going to be amazing when everyone else comes out with a cheaper tool changer, and it's like, oh, we don't have to pay to develop the slicer. He's like, we have 13 developers who worked for 2 years to get Prusa slicer to work perfectly with tool changers. We have to make that money back. And he's like, when you see people running their stealth changer off of, and he's like, we're happy to do it, but we're subsidizing the fact that other people's tool changers will have the code written. We had to write all of that. So I hadn't thought of that. I looked at,
That's a super valid. That's a super valid point
he didn't even talk
because
about, material cost, labor, stuff like that. I was like, well, but also this, he's like, yeah, but that's not what you're paying for. You're paying for the man hours that it took to get it to where it is, and that it takes to ensure people have a perfect customer service experience. They also have to warranty
well,
5 times as many neck extruders.
to me, the reason I imagined is they uh, they need to cash on the opportunity
While they
while it's
can.
still
So
exactly.
I said that.
That's something.
I was like, well, let's be honest here, guys. You're the only game in town. They're like, yeah, we don't price like that. That's not how we factor our prices. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, anyone that needs a tool changer will pay the price for one because
Totally.
it's, oh yeah, we
Totally.
need that. We need to be fast. We
Hmm.
need to not waste filament. For a print farm that really needs that, not wasting material and especially not wasting time, then it's different. It's different for me because, okay, I'm here having fun. You too. You're not making a living out of printing parts.
Right.
But for people that do it, that printer is a dream come true.
But not for
So it makes
multicolor.
sense.
For multicolor, it will never pay for itself for saving on purge or even time. Like, you're better off buying 5 or 3 or whatever X1 carbons. I think for multi-material, if you need to be printing,
As,
carbon
a, as an
fiber,
engineering as an
nylon
engineering
yeah,
demanding stuff, right? Yeah,
yeah. I think
I
that makes
agree.
sense.
I agree.
Also, I didn't realize, again, getting to know, and again, none of this, there were parts of our conversation which I'm sure I'm not supposed to repeat. None of this was part of that part. But I never realized, it's very easy for us consumers who are just printing toys and stuff to be like, oh, no one's
Yeah.
buying Prusa. Basically, anyone who wants privacy is buying a Prusa now, or a
Oh
Stratasys
yeah.
or whatever. But like, no one's buying Ultimaker. And the people doing R&D at Volkswagen, or the people at universities who are like patenting stuff like MIT, they're not
Absolutely.
buying Chinese printers, period. And that's not a
No, it's
criticism
not
of the
just
companies.
Chinese. It happens that most Chinese companies are, well, but the thing is, anyone that must assure privacy for their projects, for their clients, for the patents, for the research they are doing,
Right,
they want something that they can see the firmware
right,
so they can trust if they want to audit it and be really
right.
sure, and they want something that is offline.
That they can pull the Wi-Fi
Or
chip out. So I had no
yeah,
idea how big of a deal this was.
In the US, anything for government and military, it's a big market there as well. So yeah,
I heard, I'm not going to say who told me this, and I haven't confirmed it, and I'm not going to say which printer company. Microsoft, you know how Microsoft all over the world, they have these like hack spaces that are free to the public to use. Like come in, Microsoft has a hack space for up and coming entrepreneurs, and they have like 3D printers and
really?
VR. Yeah, they have one here in Israel. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
interesting.
they banned all of a certain company's printers. They pulled them all out.
Oh,
They said we can't have them on our network.
okay.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So now you understand why. And by the way, that company obviously was not Prusa, right?
Okay. I
And that was eye-opening for me.
let me tell a prediction about the future.
Yeah. And
I
then my
think it
phone's
is
running out of battery, which I'm using for the camera. So we'll wrap pretty soon, even though I'm really enjoying
okay.
the conversation.
Oh, thank you so much. It's my pleasure too. I think that at some point Bambu will open their firmware. At some
Ooh,
point, I
that
think. But
would
it's
be
my
interesting.
it's my belief. I don't have any information. Maybe I will be wrong, but I think at some point
Shit, that's a good point.
they they might be like, oh, we need to open it,
That would be the
and
trump card if they do that.
because
Look,
then if people want, they
they're
can
very smart.
compile. Yeah,
They do
they can
not
compile.
operate like any other company in the space. I mean, they're so in tune with their customer base. They really know and they really care what their customers want.
Let's suppose that
I mean,
in,
so
I
does
don't know,
Prusa, but
2 years. Let's suppose that in 2 years, half of the printers are Bambu. I don't think it's by far not, we're not there yet. But let's see
right.
that they continue innovating and people will continue choosing the parts, the price, the quality, everything. Let's suppose they consolidate their presence. And then they say, you know what? We are going to open the firmware. So all these things about contractors, oh, people can like, yeah, they can compile it, and that wouldn't be a problem anymore because people would be
Yeah,
able to
true.
compile it, their own source code, install on the printers. Yeah.
That
And
would
then it
be
fixes.
that would fix a lot of the problem that they're going to have.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying it will happen, but it could happen for a good
I hadn't even
reason.
thought of that, but you're right. It wouldn't shock me. Like I said, they're so smart about how they approach the market, right? And how they listen to the community. And that's not saying that other brands don't, but Bambu gets it. I mean, they know. They know what the customer wants. And I hadn't thought about it that they know they're losing sales because the printers always connect to Wi-Fi. I mean, they have LAN
Yeah.
printing and they have the X1E, which you can buy, which can be fully offline.
Yeah, the market is changing. The other brands, they shook the market a lot.
100%.
I still owe Bambu a review, not because I agreed they just sent me my P1S,
Mm,
but I think the printer they never asked me. They just wanted like, look, do you want to
yeah,
play
yeah.
with it? And I said, okay, I want to play with it. I never did a review. I owe the printer it because it's very good in many aspects. But I told Nadia on Forminext, I told that I will launch a video in the beginning of this year saying, Bambu, I hated the brand, I loved the printer. That's my it's changing. It took me my time to digest lots of things. But yeah, I didn't like the brand in the beginning because of the open source thing. I will
Okay.
develop I will develop this idea and other things on my video. But that's the thing. I didn't like what happened, how it changed. Lots of good competitors that are having a better, for example, Anchor Make. I loved the printer, the
Yeah.
M5 and the M5C. Excellent bed slinger. And people
Stillborn.
now, eh, yeah, it's they suffered a lot. And it's a shame because it was great printed and I still have mine and it prints very well.
My
I
M5C
got
was a
I
disaster. They sent me two of them.
really,
They sent me
my
two of
goodness.
them and two hot ends for each one. Non-stop problems.
That's so weird because I love mine. It printed very well from the beginning. And the frame, it's solid aluminum,
Yeah, it's true.
machined. It's
It's true.
very stable.
It's
I
true.
love mine.
All right,
Any more
we're
questions,
approaching my
people?
bedtime, gang. But I want to thank you for coming on. Everson, where can people find you and support you and all the awesome stuff you do? I can tell already you're going to be a repeat guest. So there you go. Geek
Thank you so
Detour.
much.
Geek
Geek
Detour.
Detour.
There it is,
Geek
Detour.
Detour. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me. It was a pleasure. I hope it was interesting. I talk too much.
No, it was super interesting. And people really enjoyed it. I can see from the comments.
Oh, thank you so much. That's nice.
All right, my friend. I'm going to take us out and then we can debrief after. Thanks
Okay.
for tuning in,
Mwah.
everyone.
This is everybody.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infill Podcast. For show notes or links to anything mentioned in today's episode, visit thenextlayer.com. If you enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to leave us a review wherever you're listening, or click the like button to let us know. And consider subscribing to The Next Layer on YouTube so you can tune in live and participate in the next conversation. We'll see you on The Next Layer.